Federal prosecutors dug into properties James owns in Virginia and interviewed 15 people looking for evidence she committed mortgage fraud, but they came up empty.
Also tonight, you've got the Trump administration escalating its fight against one of the Fed governors, so one of the people who sits on the board of the Federal Reserve, with the Trump administration advancing a criminal investigation into Lisa Cook. She's somebody who President Trump and his allies have been accusing of mortgage fraud.
There was a potential criminal referral or a letter about New York Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. And tonight we have even more news. Fox has confirmed that the Justice Department has officially opened up a criminal investigation into James's real estate transactions.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. Two of the most powerful women in America, New York Attorney General Letitia James and Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, are now under federal scrutiny. Are these legitimate fraud cases or a high-stakes power play by President Trump to punish his critics and reshape the economy? Let's break down the allegations, the law, and what's really at stake. Both investigations center on a specific type of mortgage fraud, primary residence misrepresentation. Federal law treats that as a serious offense, with possible penalties including heavy fines and even prison if prosecutors prove an intentional misstatement that the lender relied on. Here's the basic idea. When you buy a home, lenders ask whether it will be your primary residence. A primary residence loan usually means lower interest rates, a smaller down payment, and easier qualification because lenders assume you're less likely to default on the place you actually live. Let's start with Letitia James. James, the top law enforcement officer in New York, famously sued Donald Trump and won a major civil fraud judgment against him recently. Now, federal investigators are examining whether James misrepresented several properties on mortgage documents. According to reports, a referral from the Federal Housing Finance Agency, led by Trump ally Bill Pulte, claims James listed a Virginia property as her primary residence and misstated details on two other properties. James denies any wrongdoing. Her legal team says key mortgage documents actually show she did not claim the Virginia house as her main home and that any discrepancies are clerical errors. So far, the FBI has interviewed witnesses and reviewed records, but no criminal charges have been filed. The U.S. attorney overseeing the case recently resigned after Trump publicly attacked him for not bringing charges, but after 5 months of investigating, he was unable to find evidence that mortgage fraud had been committed. Now to Lisa Cook, a governor on the Federal Reserve Board. The Justice Department is investigating whether Cook claimed two different homes as her primary residence, one in Michigan and a condo in Atlanta, when applying for mortgages in 2021. Cook's team counters that some documents clearly describe the Atlanta condo as a second home, and tax filing shows she never took a homestead exemption there. Despite that, President Trump announced he was firing Cook for cause, an extraordinary move since Federal Reserve governors can only be removed under strict legal standards. Cook sued, and a federal judge has blocked her removal while the investigation continues. These cases didn't appear in a vacuum. Donald Trump has openly vowed to retaliate against officials who investigated him, including Letitia James, whose civil fraud case cost him hundreds of millions of dollars, and just recently, former FBI Director James Comey. And with Lisa Cook, the stakes are economic. The Fed controls interest rates, and Trump has repeatedly pushed for lower rates. Removing a sitting governor could give him a chance to install someone more aligned with his monetary agenda. Is this legal strategy or political payback? That's the question hanging over both investigations. If these allegations turn out to be true, the hypocrisy will be staggering. Both James and Cook hold positions built on integrity and trust. One enforces the law and the other helps steer the U.S. economy. Mortgage fraud is exactly the kind of crime their offices are supposed to guard against. But if the cases collapse, they could stand as stark examples of how the justice system can be weaponized to intimidate political opponents and undermine independent institutions. Federal mortgage fraud can carry fines up to $1 million and up to 30 years in prison in extreme cases. But intent is key. Prosecutors must show the borrower knowingly lied and that the lender relied on that lie to approve the loan. Proving that against seasoned lawyers and federal officials is a steep uphill climb, which may explain why neither case has produced an indictment so far. Whether these investigations end in charges, dismissals, or prolonged legal battles, they're already reshaping the political landscape. Are these legitimate efforts to enforce mortgage laws or political maneuvers aimed at punishing critics and controlling the Fed? Either way, the outcome will test the boundaries of law, ethics, and power in America. What do you think? Are these cases about justice or vengeance? Let me know in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned because these stories are far from over.